Very good evening to everybody, and welcome to this next in our Music Revival online live stream series. This is Christopher Daigen coming to you from our home in KwaZulu-Natal. This is Saturday. It is the 4th of September, and it is 6 o'clock, and this is our live stream program number 151. On Wednesday, we featured our 150th session with a bit of a celebration for Spring Day and also for the 50th anniversary of South African Bubbly Cup Classique, which was a moment. And I'm going to continue the same theme this evening in our in-concert session, our program of classical music, continuing the same theme of very popular, almost like returning to the beginning, the very first streams that we had with some of the most popular classical piano repertoire. Last week we had some very interesting repertoire by Ravel and Brahms and Chopin. Next week a really fascinating program by Robert Schumann. So I thought, well, in this in-between, to start this new cycle of sessions, I'm going to return to the beginning. So we're going to have music by Bach's Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, the Chaconne from George Frederick Handel, which is one of my favorite party pieces, you might say, as well as music from Chopin, 2 compositions from Liszt, and ending with Debussy's Clair de Lune. So if you're a fan of classical piano music, do stay around enjoying us. If you have never heard a program of classical piano music before, well, I think you might find quite a few things in this program to like or to enjoy or even sound familiar. Once again, if you are able to support me in these endeavors of bringing this free live stream program to you, especially if you are watching regularly and if you are enjoying it, I'm very grateful for your support, which you will find at our website, musicrevival.co.za. There's an entire page full of links and possibilities, various platforms where you can donate and send funds to me to keep me working and to keep supporting our program. So I'm going to start off tonight, as I said, with Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring. This is from a Bach cantata, a work for soloists, choir and orchestra, and is arranged by the English pianist Myra Hess. Myra Hess is particularly famous for her efforts during the Second World War, where she performed, I think, over 2,000 concerts, more than one a week at the National Gallery, London, on Trafalgar Square. And all of these concerts were free, attended by the public, attended by service people. It was a great event and a very generous support and a very generous program that she established, really boosted the morale of the public at this time. Of course, the fact that she was devoting much of her repertoire to the music of the great German masters was overlooked. It didn't seem to be a problem. But nevertheless, this program of concerts served to be a huge boost, as I say, for the public. And I'm very inspired by this and also by this arrangement, a very beautiful arrangement that Myra Hess made of this version, as I say, originally written for choir, orchestra and soloists. I was asked by one of our viewers to please give examples and explain what a transcription really is, and one of these days I will, to compare the two ideas. And even though, as I say, the notes are written for different instruments, they all have to be rearranged. Some have to be doubled, some have to be left out. It's impossible with 10 fingers to play exactly what is written for the different instruments, but certainly creating something of the sound balance and the different textures and the different timbres of the instruments and of the choir is really the crucial part to making this piece work. And straight after that, then I'm going to go into a pretty brilliant moment with the Chaconne in G major by George Frederick Handel. This is a very brilliant and exciting piece of music that starts off with a series of chords and leads into a subsequent set of variations which ensue with great determination and great power, and really brings Handel to a series of different moods and ending off with something quite potent. Andrew, don't hang on. I can see someone else who is determined to bark, is little Frida. So let me just unclip myself and go and see what the issue is. Just hang on with me, please. I will be back. If you want to move to another holding image. Come, friends. Come, Freddy, in your basket. Best you stay here. Come in your basket.
Good girl.
Okay, looks like we're back in the room. Don't know, Frida was barking at something. Part of the nature of the deal with a live stream series, live home stream studio. We've got various elements of traffic, hopefully no cell phones ringing, the weather, thunder, various outside elements playing a part. But little Frida seemed to have a barking moment, but she seems to be over it. So here we go. J is Bach, Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, and the Chaconne in G by George Frederick Handel. That was the Handel Chaconne in G major, HWV for the Handel catalog 435. A great piece of music, one of my favorites, one of my party pieces. I've started mini concert with that. It's such an exciting, solid start, and the fact that it repeats that pattern of chords and that sequence of rhythm in such a repetitive and such a consistent way really gives such a positive and very comforting opening to any program. Before that, I played the very beautiful Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring by J.S. Bach from a cantata. It was arranged by Myra Hess. That brings the opening two numbers to this evening's live stream, number 151. As I said earlier, I am revisiting some of the standards, some of the very original programs, some of my classic pieces, just to bring everyone into a very comfortable and cozy start to the new session, the new cycle of live streams. I'm going to continue with two pieces by the composer Franz Liszt, his very well-known and probably his most popular composition, that of Liebestraum. Liszt wrote three of these pieces, Liebestraum or Dreams of Love, as originally as songs for voice accompanied by the piano, and then rearranged them for solo piano version. And it's in fact in the solo version that we generally know this music better than for the vocal version. In the original poem for this third of the three pieces, which is the most popular, the poet Ferdinand Filigrath talks, or the poet discusses that one should never love too much. It is impossible to not love. Love with all your heart, love as much as you can, because one day it will all be over and we'll be standing beside the grave and weeping. So it's certainly the truth in that, but it's a wonderful melody and such a wonderfully poetic thought, and transmitted and translated into wonderful music by Franz Liszt. And the second piece of Liszt's that I'd like to play for you this evening, one of his famous concert etudes, a piece of music that I keep coming back to, Un Sospiro, or A Sigh. A piece of music Liszt wrote all these incredibly challenging pieces to exploit various aspects of the piano technique and the piano in terms of what it can create. And I think this particular piece of music, apart from the fact that it's constantly crossing hands, it's very interesting to watch, and I often get confused. It's one of the most challenging of Liszt's pieces that I've actually played, because I still keep getting muddled. So I'm going to give it another try this evening. Bear with me if I get it wrong. I suppose it's the worst. What can go wrong? You know, we'll just have another go next week or the week after, whenever I can, and try and get it right. Still getting to that internal part of the piece. But a piece of music that has such wonderful atmosphere, great drama. It's a very generous. There's never anything harsh about this music. And that element of the sospiro, the sigh, keep returning again and again. Each phrase ends on this very gentle, falling motive. So this is Liebestraum number 3 and Un Sospiro by Franz Liszt. That was Franz Liszt's concert Etude und Sospiro, and before that Liszt's Liebestraum number 3. Und Sospiro is such a tricky piece. I think you can even see me, if Andrew's focusing on my hand, you can even see I started to get a bit of the shakes. It's such an incredibly hard piece to capture the delicacy and the stillness of that melody and the nuance of the music in its very fragile state, but while being incredibly busy back and forward. It's like the two manifestations of your physical movements and the music that actually come out don't always match up. It's really such a complicated piece, but I think I'm getting a bit better at it, so I think we can keep on it. I'm not sure, I hope that came out all right, or it sounded a bit better than last time. So I just sort of got a bit of a case of the shakes in the middle there, I don't quite know why. Bit of a rattle. Anyway, I'm going to move on to music by Frederick Chopin. These are again 3 of my favorite pieces. I'm going to start off with the very beautiful Waltz in C-sharp minor. This is a piece of music that I think, well, in fact, all 3 of these pieces I think really are quintessential and really crucial to the core of what Chopin's music is about, combining the incredible taste, refinement, and the structure which binds this music together in terms of the bass line, the melody, the way the chords fit together. Every note is so carefully placed together, and to be able to manage all that while keeping that fluidity in it as well, that's really the challenge, I think, of what Chopin's music is about. So the Waltz in C-sharp minor, a very unique little piece of music that Chopin taught. Apparently he spent hours and hours with his students trying to get them to get that particular lilt in the opening theme, that little pause and dotted rhythm, absolutely correct. The second piece of music that's one of my favorites, Fantaisie-Impromptu, that he composed for the Baroness d'Este, apparently in a visitor's book and a notebook for her, and only after his death was it subsequently published for the very first time, but has become one of his most celebrated compositions. Again, the way that the music inhabits this world between virtuosity and a certain brilliance, even though there's always melody in that brilliance, the beautiful, sustained, reflective melody in the middle, which is derived from, becomes, so, becomes, it's one of those Chopin, those genius moments of Chopin when you start analyzing, it doesn't look like it on the page, but actually the shape of the opening and the middle theme, the middle core is exactly the same. That's the genius of Chopin. And then of course he brings it back, combines the 2 elements. While the busyness is in the right hand, the left hand comes this reflective moment once again in the end. And then the third of the 3 pieces, a wonderful Nocturne in D flat, opus 27. So these are all actually in the same key, C sharp minor and D flat major being the same inharmonically. And D flat major Nocturne is just one of his most sublime pieces, the very constant left hand pattern, which is so laden with harmonic interest, all the different chords and all the little details without being excessive, while the right hand is this jeweled melody that returns again and again and again with cascades of sounds, and it's a very sustained, beautiful, really, really beautiful piece. I think all 3 of them are. So this is the Waltz in C-sharp minor, the Fantaisie-Impromptu, and the Nocturne, opus 27, number 2. selection of 3 compositions by Frederick Chopin there in our in-concert session. This is on the 4th of September. I started off with the Waltz in C-sharp minor, then I went on to the Fantaisie-Impromptu, Opus 66, published posthumously after the composer's death, and ended off with the Nocturne in D-flat, all more or less in the same key at the end, Opus 27, number 2. That Nocturne, Opus 27, is such a beguiling piece of music. It's so subtly written and there's so many nuances and details. Every time I play it, it seems like a completely new piece of music. Chopin treads such an incredibly fine line, like a thread of silk. And it's not as though anything, any root can be wrong, but you can actually suddenly push or just bend that pattern ever so slightly, and suddenly it takes on a whole new guise, and the passage which you're playing suddenly has a new meaning and a new substance in terms of the whole structure of the music. I am going to end off this evening's performance on a very gentle note, a very soft and quiet note, once again, this time by the composer Claude Debussy, and a great all-time favorite, and I know a very special piece to many who are watching this evening, and this is Clair lune from his suite Bergamasque. An early composition, Debussy was writing this Bergamasque suite, a set of pieces which had a kind of rustic influences and very strong rhythms, dance rhythms, a sort of really earthy feel to the music. And he was short of a third movement which was slow, and he remembered, wait a minute, I have this thing in the bottom drawer somewhere, piece of music that I've started a long time ago and I don't really finished it, and it was just a sketch, and he pulled it out of his bottom drawer, completed the composition, pieced it together, and this of course is the magical Clair lune movement, as which is now certainly his most celebrated, his most popular composition, and one of the most evocative pieces of piano music of all time. Suddenly a piece of music that hangs in the air, the way that it starts without any bass, there's no bass at all, it's just the treble on itself, and gradually the music fills in like moonlight rising over the horizon, gradually, little bit by little bit, until you see the moon in its great glory, and this music of great gravity that is somehow floating in the air and floating in the sky. The beautiful Clair de Lune by Claude Debussy brings an end to this evening's in-concert session. It was wonderful music, really very calm and gentle music, and a wonderful moment. I mean, what a beautiful piece of music, what beautiful sounds. I hope you've enjoyed the selection of music this evening. I'm not sure, my clock seems to be broken. Andrew, is the time, what is the time now? Okay, it is almost, it's my clock seems to have run out of battery, such is the nature of these things. And so thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the selection of music to start the new cycle. And after 150th, we have 151 this evening, and this is starting the new cycle of our sessions. On Wednesday, I'll be playing a program of world cafe music from around the world, ragtime, tango, and various ideas. And next Saturday, a very exciting program with the music of Robert Schumann. I'll be playing some of his fantasy pieces, as well as the complete set of 8 pieces which make up Kreisleriana, Opus 16, one of Schumann's magnificent and quite exotic, very intense, very difficult, not difficult, but challenging to listen to and to play, but very, very exciting music. If you come on that journey in this concert series, which I've called Why Schumann, it's Schumann's turn, and I'll try and explain something a little bit about the composer and the background as to why I think his music offers something quite unique. Now, someone who is very unique and who's going to be offering all of her heart and love, as always, is, of course, little Lucy. And here's little Lucy. Luce, would you like to come up to say hello to everyone? Come. There we go. Oh, you got a big waggy tail. Yes. You do want to come up. There we go. Hello, little Luce. How are things today? How's everything with you? You're going to wave. You're going to wave. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Yes, yes. Hello, little Luce. And Luce, did you like? Yes, you liked this evening's music. Oh, you even want to, yes, you want to like it, you want to lick it. Now, you can't lick me or the music, but yes, it was, what did you like about it most, Luce? You're not sure. It's just everything. Okay, you liked it. It was a well-known selection and quite nicely balanced with lots of beautiful melodies. Yes, so it made you feel, that's what you had in Switzerland finishing school, huh? They taught you how to appreciate good music, and you remember these tunes when they played them to you. Very good. Now, everyone else is coming up. Looks like we're having a little hello from the Hart family this evening. Here is little Frieda. Hello, Frieds. How are you doing? Yes. Oh, no, you can't touch the microphone. Frieds, are you going to get a hugsy? Frieda gets a hugsy from me. Yes, yes. Oh, you're going to give me a licksy too. Little Frieda saying hello. And Wendy Pop. Come, Wendy Pop. And Wendy Pop's going to say hello to everyone. Wendy Pop. And Wendy Pop, oh, you had an accident. Yes, Wendy Pop had a little accident earlier. Wendy Pop got stuck inside the duvet cover. You know, when one of those terrible things, you know how difficult it is to put a duvet inside a cover? Well, imagine what it's like when on a nice cool afternoon like today, you climb inside and you find yourself inside the duvet cover, and then you can't get out. And then you fall off the bed and you're still inside the duvet cover. Hey, that's what happened, Wendy Pop. Yes, but I heard this little yelp and I thought, that's not unusual. That's a very unusual little sound. And there we go. That was little Wendy Pop inside the duvet cover. Well, there we go. Thanks, girls, for coming to say hello to everyone today, all 3 of you. Thank you, Andrew, for the technical support this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the music. For everyone who's still with us, please visit my website. You'll see QR codes coming up. It's a new season. I know many of you are starting to probably venture out more now that it's coming up to summer and it's not quite as dark as it is at 6 o'clock in the evening. So please do continue to support me if you're able, if you're watching. Of course, you can watch these at any time, not only live. You can watch them at YouTube and at my website. The current last session is there for 3 or 4 days, and all of them, all 150, are available at YouTube at my channel to watch if you'd like. Thanks for joining us this evening. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Keep well, stay well, and look after yourselves.